Hi, and welcome to another episode of The Really Show. I'm your host, Aaron Ross. Today's show, 10 interesting third-party political groups. Hey, if you like the show, we would really love it if you would subscribe. Please. Here's a list of 10 interesting and sometimes strange political party groups. One of the first third parties in the United States, the Anti-Masonic Party, also known as the Anti-Masonic Movement, had as its single issue a vehement opposition to the Freemasonry. However, the party did eventually expand its positions to various other issues. While the Anti-Masonic Party only lasted 1 decade, it did bring about some innovations to American politics, adoption of party platforms, and nominating conventions. A majority of the anti-Masonic members became the Whigs, another party that had views similar to it. Our next party is the Liberty Party. The Liberty Party, which was created in April 1840 during New York's National Convention held in Albany, was the first anti-slavery party. The development of this party centered on using political means to attain the goals of abolitionists. James G. Birney, a former Alabama slaveholder, was the party's first presidential candidate, but only 7,000 votes were obtained during this first election. By 1844, the number had risen to 62,000. While still small, the Liberty Party had its influence on several northern states. According to some historians, its influence caused Henry Clay to lose the 1844 presidential election when some of the Whig votes in New York State were taken away from him. By 1848, most party members threw their participation into the Free Soil Party, as it dealt with the North's fears about slavery expansion. Next, the Free Soil Party. Get it while it's hot! Free soil! Get your free soil! One of the shortest-lived U.S. political parties, it was around for the 1848 and 1852 presidential elections, as well as a number of state elections. This third single-issue party was founded in Buffalo, New York, and appealed mainly to those in New York State. Leadership in the Free Soil Party involved former anti-slavery Whig and Democratic Party members. The key purpose behind the Free Soil Party was to oppose slavery expansion into Western territories, with the argument that free men on free soil created an ethically and economically bigger system to slavery. Along with slavery opposition in new territories, they worked hard to outlaw existing laws that led to discrimination of freed African Americans. And between 1854 and 1856, the Republican Party took in most Free Soil members. Next, the American Know-Nothing Party. We don't want to know nothing. The American Party was first called the Native American Party. It was also known as the Know-Nothing Movement. The party swore to cleanse American politics of the influence of Irish Catholics and other immigrants. It highlighted the reflection of the sentiment that German and Irish Catholic immigrants were overrunning the country, people seen as being more aligned with the Pope and hostile to Republican values. Membership was mainly geared towards Protestant men. The party was active for 2 years in 1854 and 1856, striving to restrain immigration and naturalization. Their success was minimal. After he was president, Millard Fillmore, the last Whig president, was a prominent member of the American Party. Next on our list, the Southern Democratic Party. During the 1850s, the Southern Democratic Party defended slavery and even endorsed its expansion into the West. Once the Reconstruction era was over during the late 1870s, the party controlled all southern states and excluded blacks. When it came to presidential elections, the Solid South gave all its electoral votes to the Democrats. It was rare for a Republican to hold office in any southern state. Next, the National Equal Rights Party. The party was also called the Cosmopolitical National Radical Reform and People's Party. Say that 10 times fast. In the late 19th century, the National Equal Rights Party was a minor party supporting women's equal rights. In 1872, Victoria Woodhull was a presidential candidate, and in 1884 and 1888, Belva Ann Lockwood was also a presidential candidate. These women are considered to be the first to have run for the U.S. presidency. Of course, women didn't even have the right to vote until years later. Next is the Greenback Party. The Greenback Party was a political party that operated under an anti-monopoly ideology, active between the years of 1874 and 1889. The party was active in 3 presidential elections in the late 1800s before it finally disbanded. The name was, of course, in reference to the non-gold-backed paper money, generally known as greenbacks. The North issued the money during the Civil War and afterwards. Of course, this came out of an idea that eventually took hold that non-backed currency was better for business. Give them the business. We're giving you the business. Next, the Prohibition Party. Woo! This political party, of course, is known for its historic resistance to the consumption and sale of alcoholic beverages. It's regarded as the 3rd oldest political party in the United States. Of course, it was a significant part of the temperance movement. It was never a leading party, but it did play a big role. And it still exists today. In 2012, it received a little more than 500 votes. And next is the Constitution Party. This is a conservative U.S. third party which was established in 1952. In the 1952 presidential election, they nominated Douglas MacArthur for president and Harry F. Byrd for vice president without either's permission. Boom! In your face. And last but not least, the Peace and Freedom Party. Peace! The Peace and Freedom Party of California was founded in June of 1967 and went national in 1968 as a left-wing party opposed to the Vietnam War. The nationally organized left-wing political party is found in more than 10 states: California, Colorado, Florida, Hawaii, for example. In 2004, 2008, and 2012, its presidential candidates were Leonard Peltier, Ralph Nader, and Roseanne Barr, respectively. I don't have any questions. Do you have any questions? If you have any comments or questions, we would love it if you would leave them in the comments area. Well, that's our show for today. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.